Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we got to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people that we know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we got to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people that we know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have to live. We only have one life to live. Oh yeah. We have to live it. We only have one life to live, and we got to live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes.
Yes. Greetings. One of my old songs from back in the day. We strive to live a positive life. Anyway, my family, that's right. You should strive to live a positive life anyway. Please share this video. If you really care about the information that I'm about to drop on you, please share this video, because what I am going to do at this point is all about applicable information to me. I can care less about debating and arguing with people. It's all about getting information that you can use for yourself and guide yourself, and then guide your family once you take on information like that. So those that are listening to me around the world on the World Wide Web at www.YouTube Studios, of course, King Simon Presents, I want to thank all of you. Those who wish to donate, I do not have Cash App at this time, and I know that can be a little strenuous for a lot of you that really wish to donate to this machine so I can continue to produce applicable workshop, applicable seminars, applicable lecture series throughout the city of New York and on the live stream. You're more than welcome to make your donations to Numbers Are Simple. Numbers Are Simple, SIMPLE, at gmail.com via PayPal. Okay, via PayPal. You can make it out to friends and family and send a donation. Hit that donation button. I don't have, of course, I don't have chat, what you call it, Cash Chat or Cash App, and I don't have the, of course, the Super Chat. Uh, I'm not really, I really don't monetize my videos. I'm really realizing that I really want to just share information with the people as much as I can, because I've been doing a lot of this stuff for many years, whether it was in the reggae community or the Caribbean community, and sharing a lot of potent conscious artists back in my day, working out of SOBs, Urban Plaza, and various other venues that I've done throughout New York City. So I've put in my work, and I continue to put in my work. My book explains that. My numbers are no promotion is bad promotion. Remember, that's on Amazon and Kindle. Of course, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated is also Amazon and Kindle. Also, my children's health book is on Amazon and Kindle. And the rest of my books, and those books, all three of these books, all three of those books that I just mentioned are also being published by a Black publishing company owned by Dr. Laila Africa and his wife, Dr. Melanie. So it's very important that I need you to share this and like this, like up, thumb up the button, thumb up the video, like the video, share it with others, because I listened to the Breakfast Club today, and regardless of whatever went on in that Breakfast Club, which was a good interview, Fat Joe said something clear, very clear, and he's born August 19th, so he's that Leo energy, that number one energy. So I was compelled to it because I'm also a number one energy, also under the numbers, under the sign of Aquarius myself. But before I get into that, I want to share that this weekend we have the tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair. If you are coming to New York for that particular tribute, if you don't know who Dr. Delbert Blair is, a grand master of metaphysics, one of the old elders from back in the day who was teaching this for over damn near 50 years, you definitely need to check out Dr. Delbert Blair, because Dr. Delbert Blair, who was also an Aquarian like myself, was able to stretch the mentality of our people to another level. And if you do want to go and come out or see the live stream, please go to kingsimonproductions.eventbrite.com, kingsimonproductions.eventbrite.com. We're doing a tribute to Dr. Delbert Blair. Of course, here's the flyer right here. I have Red Pill and Blue Pill. Y'all know Red Pill and Blue Pill from Know the Ledge Radio and Media. Sister Kafunya, the crystal healing person who frequent many of Dr. Blair's lectures with us. Of course, Ross Ben, also who's been a participant with Dr. Blair, because they all into that certain healing modality with magnets and crystals and all that. Of course, Bishop Renee, who was a dear old friend of Dr. Blair, who's been supporting him for many years. Ankh Rising Sun, of course, people know Ankh Rising Sun, dealing with the magnetic water, the purifying water, dealing with alkalinity of water. Joel Benjamin, everybody know Joel Benjamin from Joel Benjamin 528. He will be live streaming the event. So if you want to find out further information about the live stream, please go to Joel Benjamin 528 at Eventbrite, and you can get that live stream for this Sunday's event. It will start approximately at 4:30, but the event doors open at 3 o'clock. It is actually $13 in advance. That's the lowest that I've been in a long time for a event, because yes, we have to pay for the venues. Yes, we have to pay for sound. We have to pay for a lot of that stuff. But because I work with Nicholas and Nicholas work with me, and Monique and Joel are very accommodating, we are doing it for $13 before 4 o'clock, and then $25 at the door after 4. But all young people are absolutely free. It's only $13, but young people are absolutely free to come, as long as they're there to learn and to take it in like a sponge, soak it in to the information, because what we're going to show some of the footage of Dr. Delbert Blair. And as a matter of fact, I want to show the footage of Dr. Blair and Phil Valentine together on a lecture scene. I know it's probably on YouTube, but I want to pinpoint certain things, and then people are going to come up and express why they got into certain healing modality that they're into, whether it's magnetic therapy, because Dr. Blair taught on that, astrology, Dr. Blair understood that, numerology, he understood that, he understood all these different types of modalities in the 50 years. So we are doing a tribute, an honorary tribute to our ancestor, and I will have his books two of his books, two titles that he has. He has three titles, but I'm going to have only two of his books. Each one of them are $20, but if you buy two, it's two for $30. And these books are when he connected with an extraterrestrial from his account, from his story. And believe me, Dr. Blair ain't changing his story. If he said what he said, he meant what he said. And also he did a book called Man, Woman, and Child. So I have those two books that will be on hand. The first, and I only have 10 of each. So if you buy two of them, you get them for $30. Boom. Dr. Blair's books are very extraordinary, very good information. And he, like I said, stretches the mind. Now, in November, we got a lot of events coming up. We just got to confirm venues and confirm dates. But November 2nd, well, October 10th. First, I got to talk about what I'll be doing with a young lady named Natosha Dezoni. October the 20th, I'll be doing a mental health and numerology lecture with a mental health therapist at 78 Saratoga. Let me find that flyer right now so I can share that information with you. You can contact Natosha at contact Sister Natosha, who is a mental health therapist. You can contact her at let me see the number here. You can contact our sister at I know I have the number up here somewhere. Contact her at 973-910-8470. That's 973-910-8470. So we're going to be doing a thing called it's called Holistic Living Project. SIP and relationships, bridging the mindset of men and women, mental health therapy, and numerologic. And of course, I'm the guest speaker with Natosha Dezoni, who's definitely going to be doing what she has to do. And if you want to join their Instagram is at that a tribe called Worthy, because the tribe called Worthy is ones that are actually doing certain things in our community to help ladies realize that they are worthy through sexual traumas, mental illness, because a lot of the traumas that we have gone through as men and women are causing the dysfunction of our children today. That a lot of the traumas that men and women have been suffering from childhood up to now is what's causing the dysfunction, and the cycle continues. And if we don't break the cycle, we don't heal the cycle, if we don't learn to address the root problems, then it will continue to go on, and all of the stuff, all the atrocities and all the different things are going to keep on coming up. So I'm proud of Natasha Dezoni, who's doing it on Sunday the 20th from 2 to 6 p.m. at 78 Saratoga Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. That's 78 Saratoga Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. The place only holds 50 people. And it is only $25 in advance and $20 in advance, $25 at the door. That's general admission. But you can give a call to find out the Eventbrite link and all that at 973-910-8470. That's 973-910-8470. And her Instagram is A Tribe Called Worthy. One word, A Tribe Called Worthy. It's a woman's group that is doing wonderful things for our sisters. So sisters, there is hope. Don't let anyone tell you that there's no hope. Brothers, there is hope. Don't let no one tell you that there's no hope. And that's why I am doing today's commentary on what Fat Joe said. And I got to commend Brother Fat Joe from out of the Bronx and the whole crew out there, and Big Pun, the late great Big Pun, and all that kind, who's born November the 10th, the same day as Michael Jai White. So I found it very interesting what he said about Big Pun, as far as somebody who can go into a dream state and come out with lyrics. Remember, he's a Scorpion #1, so Scorpions are very intuitive and they can go into the dream state. That's that Scorpion energy that rules that intuitive realm, like all water signs do. They rule that intuitive realm. So for him to go into his dream state and be able to bring it right back out with a book of lyrics, that is amazing. But that is just that water energy that he has. And him and Michael Jai White is born the same day. So I wrote down the quote on my blackboard. Everybody knows I have a blackboard. You've seen me teach on my blackboard. But I wrote the quote down because Fat Joe really touched everyone. I felt that energy. He touched Charlemagne. He touched everyone in there when he said that specific quote. Out of all of the interview, He said this quote. He said, "Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity." I'm going to say it again. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. In other words, to me, I felt that you have to learn to embrace the darkness in order to receive the light. Because there's a balance. Because all of us, in some point of some point, every night we accept or embrace the darkness. That's why we go to sleep. That's why we close our eyes. There's a point every night of our life we fall asleep and we close our eyes in what we call triple darkness, or the second form of darkness, or the first form of darkness, and we learn to embrace it, and then we fall into a dream state or a sleep state or astral travel state. Darkness is necessary. Don't let people tell you that darkness is evil and all that. They have mixed it, they have diluted it, they have messed it up, they have called darkness evil when darkness was not evil. Darkness is actually the light. Darkness is actually the light, because darkness just means void of light, but they all the same thing. Because even in the dark, sometimes we see clearly. And sometimes in our darkest moments, when we're going through the trials and tribulations in our life, we have to seize that moment, but it has to help us to bring forth clarity to be our very best in this world and in this realm and do what we got to do. So the people that have suffered from trauma, that some of you that are going through trauma, it's all right to embrace it, understand it, study it, research it. But like Fat Joe said, he said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. Oh, that was a powerful statement to me. That triggers a lot in my soul. As a matter of fact, I damn near started to cry. It brought me to tears because it's a true statement. It's a very true statement when he said that. Let your darkest moments. What is your darkest moments? Your darkest moments can be some moments when you're going through trials and tribulations with the family, with your wife, with your husband, with your mate, with your partner, with whoever. You could be going through darkest moments at your job. You can be going through darkest moments with your brother, your sister, someone that you consider close. You can be going through the darkest moments with your mother, your father, your cousins, whoever. You can be going through your darkest moments at any point of time in your life, because like I do in my Numerovation consultation, I tell people, there's a duality. Where there's an angel, there's a demon. Where there's a light, there's a dark. Where there's a high, there's a low. So when people say they see angel numbers 111, 222, 333, understand when you come to me for a numerology session or a Numerovation session, I expose the demon part too, because if you're not doing the light side of it, you're doing the dark side of it. Simple. There is a balance. There is a duality. So when you start seeing the angel, quote unquote, angel number, people write books on angel numbers. People write books on angel. This is a good book on angel numbers. And she gives all the positive and all the good. But to every angel number, there is a demon to it if you're not living the constructive or motivating or moving on the constructive level of the number that you see at that particular time. Or if you're not going down the obstructive level, then you're staying complacent. That means something has to give. Your comfort level has to give. That's why the old saying is, comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you're too comfortable, then you cannot progress. That's why they say, be grateful with where you're at, but never be satisfied. Be grateful for where you're at, but should never be satisfied. If we were grateful for where we're at, we would still be doing communication through a can and a string. If we were grateful for where we're at, we would not have the computer technology. They wouldn't have discovered and found out or rediscovered the 01001, the binary codes, to bring forth the computer technology. If we were just grateful and complacent and did not move with unsatisfactory, we got to be satisfied and never be satisfied with where you're at. always be willing to grow and take it to the next level. So I do numerovation and help to promote numerovation because numerovation is what I use, is a hybrid form of numerology that uses the numbers that's in your name and your birthday to take you to the next level of your highest height. But I will tell you about your negative or your negative possibilities or your lower extremities or your complacency in my session. If you truly listen, not talking about just hearing, if you truly listen to what I'm saying. So when Fat Joe on the Breakfast Club said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity, as a Leo energy that he is, born under the number 19, which is the 1 and the 9, and the both 1 and 9 are fire numbers. And 1 and 9 equals 10, which is a 1, because 1 plus 0 equals 10. That 1 represents the omega, the 9 represents the 1 represents the alpha and the 9 represents omega. That means there's a beginning and there's an ending. So when Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity, sometimes in my deep meditation, that's where I find the most clarity. When my eyes are closed and when I'm in a deep silent state, I find the most clarity. And most of us have to learn to settle our mind and settle our thoughts. You're not going to stop thinking. You're never going to stop thinking. There's a thought running in your mind, even when you're sitting down in your peace, even if you're just counting from 100 backwards to 1, which is another form of meditation. That was written by the Silvas, the Sylvia. He wrote that about meditating. And if you want to calm down some of the clutter in your mind, learn to count backwards from 100 all the way to 1. I've start at 50. Sometimes I start at 40 because I've gotten that already. I've learned to calm my mind. You're not going to stop thinking, because the mind is always active, constantly. Your subconscious, your conscious, Dr. Africa said, hey, there's no subway in your mind. Conscious mind is just a mind. It's your mind doing what it does on multiple levels. It was that subconscious stuff was coined by Sigmund Freud and the rest of them. But in actuality, we understood the mind has its varying levels, especially in ancient cultures. We understood the mentality and the mindset, and people have of different levels of mindset at different points of their life, or whether different amount of information come, different amount of inner information come, whether they inner stand, outer stand, understand, whatever. You got to understand those different types of points of your mental capacity and why you have to be leveled up and start rising up beyond where you were and where you need to go. So when like I said, Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. In your darkest moments, what was your clarity? What did you find? What did you discover about yourself? What did you discover about your family? What did you discover about your friends? Because that's when you will find and have clarity in your life. A lot of you out there don't know what to do, don't know what you love, don't know what you need to pursue. See, as a numerologist or a numerovator, I can give you guidance and basic guidance of where you need to go and how you need to go, because numbers reveal that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not willing to walk the walk instead of talking, then it won't go nowhere. If you're constantly being afraid and you're letting the darkest moments of your life hold you back, then you won't go nowhere. It's up to you, because everything, like I've said many times on many shows, that everything is in your own hands. Everything is in your own hands. Nobody has control over that. You make the decision where you want to move and how you want to move. So, like I said, the brother said some key stuff. I even heard, Charlemagne, when Fat Joe said that quote, Charlemagne said, and he wanted to do something else, but I think it was either Envy or Angela Yee that interrupted his thought pattern, because I know Charlemagne wanted to go even deeper on that. He wanted to go deeper because that statement, that quote, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity, was a clarion call, and say, yo, that reached out across the universe, even if you recognize it or not. That statement reached out across the universe because many people are in some of the darkest moments at this time. But I'm here to tell you that there is hope. wherever you may be on this planet Earth, all 196,940,000 square miles of it. Don't ever think that you cannot get out of the situation, even if you're a felon, even if you just came out of prison, even if you've been raped, molested, even if you've gone through trauma, even if you've gone through near-death experience. I've gone through that also. I've gone through those different type of things also. So we got to understand that there's always hope. I remember my cousin, who was born in the challenge month against me. When I started doing numerology and studying all that kind of stuff and showing him that this is what I do, and I would say, oh, what you're doing is giving people hope, as if something's wrong with giving people hope, because it's hope in the people that can bring about a change in the world. It's, Jesse Jackson, he said, keep hope alive, keep hope alive. Yes, you got to keep hope alive, because if you keep hope alive, then that hope will turn into something that's action, and then that action will produce something to make this world a better place on multiple levels, whether it's taking care of our forests, whether it's taking care of the greenery, whether it's stopping the the acidic effects that's happening throughout our universe and in the planet. That hope is necessary. So that's why hope is very important. Also, I quoted Shiro. Shiro is the one that wrote this book. And Shiro said in this numerology book called The Book of Numbers, Shiro's Book of Numbers, he said, it is so easy to be successful if one can only get the right inspiration. It is so easy to be successful if one can only get the right inspiration. I called my son today, one of my young sons. He just turned 21 today. Happy Earth Day to my son, Tariq Asar. And he's in college and he's doing his thing. And he said to me, man, he said, Pops, because he changed his major and all that. He's in college and his mother and I supporting him and all that kind of stuff. In our way, he's also working, but we try to support him real mentally because, he got a few scholarships and did his thing, but he was going for biology, but he went into something else and went into some other major, which is good. And then he said he felt that he wasted his time. My son, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. And then with Chero's quote, it says, it is so easy to be successful if one can only get the right inspiration. So I said to my son, which I'll say to anybody, it was not a waste of time, because there were certain moments that you did learn. You got to take things as a lesson and a blessing. So there's certain moments, even in what you may think is a waste, but even in the waste, there are jewels in the wastes. Even when there's garbage that you sift through, in the garbage, there's something. That's why the dung, that's why the scarab used to go into the dung and mold the dung and create this dung, and then something beautiful comes out of it. You can look at a caterpillar and it could look as ugly as possible, but when it goes in its cocoon, it doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too beautiful. Matter of fact, it looked like a piece of crap. It looked like dung. It looks like doo-doo. That's what a cocoon looked like. You could actually mix it up and just throw it away and not even think nothing of it. But after that metamorphosis, whatever that butterfly goes through, what nature does to that butterfly, that darkest moment that the butterfly goes through, it comes out clear. It comes out with clarity. It becomes that beautiful thing that we all start admiring, because we were not admiring the caterpillar. We started to admire the caterpillar when it came out of the cocoon, and now this butterfly comes out. So I told my son, hey, don't look at it as a waste. Look at it as a lesson and a blessing, because whatever you learn is going to take you to the next level in whatever you want to do. So then he asked me about mentorship. And I said, I don't use that word mentor, son, because in history, the mentors was the one that taught the men that taught the little boys to give them knowledge back in the Greek and Roman civilization. That's why I don't use mentorship or mentor. But just because he's in this, educational system ruled by Europeans, that's what they use, because that's their history of mentors and men teaching boys, but also getting sexual favors from boys. That's what the word mentor comes from. Study the history. Study the history. A good book that talks about it is this book by Dr. Baruti, Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Males. Dr. Baruchi's book, he wrote that. So it's very interesting. So I told him the Ethiopian word Jejna. I don't use, and Jejna is spelled Jegna. Jejna. Jejna. That's an Ethiopian word that means accountable elder and guide or teacher. Jejna. So people got to change that narrative of mentor and use Jejna. That's why on my Facebook, you can go to my Jejna network. I have the Jejna network. You could become a part of the Jejna network. That's Jegna. That's the Jejna network, because we are looking for always accountable guides and teachers, not people or men or women that's going to abuse their responsibilities or rape and molest our children while trying to give them knowledge and giving them information. You don't do that. That's not responsible, because with great power comes responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. So we got to always be mindful of how we treat our children. Remember, please share this, because this inspirational thing that I'm dropping around with numbers, and also the quote that Fat Joe said, and they wasn't able to expound on it on the Breakfast Club because they have a time format, but people like me can expound on it. So those who are just tuning in, I'm talking about what Fat Joe said. There's a key quote that Fat Joe said on the Breakfast Club today, on the 18th of September. So I'm dating it because a lot of people are going to be tuning in otherwise. And he said, "Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity." I'm going to say it again. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. I'm going to say it one more time. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. What is some of the darkest moments that you found that you had to retreat into yourself and say, it could be on the toilet. Hey, sometimes you get your greatest moments in the bathroom, in the shower, while you're brushing your teeth, while you're laying down in your bed, while you're in the park, you could be in prison, you could be anywhere. But at the point of that darkness, in the darkness, there's something to learn. Just like when we open up our eyes, we see all the color and all the luster, but in the darkness times of our minds, and when we get into our dream and our astral state, some of us don't remember our dream. Some of us don't recall it. And if you don't remember or recall your dream, remember, sometimes the dreams that you have reflect what's going on for the day that's to come, or the day that has passed, or your past history. So make sure that you look at the things that's going on in the day if you don't remember your dreams, because it's going to come back up because you dreamt about it. It can come back up in that same day, and it can come back within the week. Like I was doing some manifestation. I did a manifestation prayer with a friend of mine, and we spoke about manifestation, and it was so important to understand the manifestation that it would work either one day, within 1 week to 4 weeks. And sure enough, it started popping up on me because I understood the manifestation of different things started popping up within 1 day. It started popping up because I'm in that energy. I'm in that synchronicity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody saying, but it was the Europeans who switched the connotation of the color black for the color white, making everything dark and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yes, true. That's true. That's right. That's why darkness is not negative. Darkness is not a negative thing. How in the world could darkness be a negative thing? We all go to sleep, and close our eyes to go into the dark. It can't be negative. It's a place that you have to embrace, and you have to be comfortable in order to get rest, in order to get your sleep on. I sleep like this sometimes. I sleep like this. I sleep like I'm a pharaoh, one of those suitings back in the day. That's how I sleep sometimes. When I just want to just get into the mode and fall right into my space, I can fall right asleep. Friends, ex-girlfriends could tell you I fall. Or girlfriends, friends, ex-girlfriends, they can tell you that I fall right asleep if I'm in this mode like this. So I know that I come from some type of bloodline that was just into that, just going right into that. One time, let me tell you something. One time in my darkest moments, and I've told people before that I've thought about killing myself from the age of 8 years old because I didn't know I was where I was placed. I didn't know I'm getting teased about my complexion in school. And I understand, children could be something else back here in the States. It could be something else. You too black, you this and that, yeah, blackie, boom, boom, boom. And I was teased viciously back in my school days. And then, but to come home and still have this kind of colorism and this type of classism in my family from aunts and uncles. And me and my cousin was just talking about it. My aunt that passed on recently, she was one of those people that used to do it too. Look a black boy, how come he come out so dark? And all that. And my mother used to have to defend me. But I didn't understand. So I tried to take my own life with a blade. What's so interesting, when I tried it, I didn't try it with the light on. I tried it with the light off. So in my darkest times, my darkest moments, clarity came. Because what's so interesting, in my mind, it started like ancestors started talking to me and saying, yo, what are you doing? You're going to miss your grandmother. You're going to miss this, all that. My grandmother never treated me like that. And so I dropped the blade and ran out of the bathroom because I didn't know what the hell was bombarding me in the dark. So like Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. At 8 years old, family, people don't understand. At 8 years old, I dropped the blade because in the darkest moments, clarity came, and then I dropped the blade and ran out of the bathroom. It's real talk. And that was at 8. And anybody who studied numerology, 8 years old, the number 8 is the number of darkness, karma, things coming back at you. Yeah, I'm tearing up because I'm remembering it. And it's going to be in my book. That whole scenario is going to be how it led up to that scenario. It's going to be in my book, When the Late Bell Rang. It's going to be in my book because it's a real thing. In my darkest moments, clarity was found, and I dropped the razor blade and saved my own life. But it was a multitude of ancestors that kept on. I don't know. People will say angels and all that, but I'm sure it was all in my mind. But it hit me all in my mind. Like it's like it started yelling out in the bathroom. So we got to understand. We have to understand 8 represents that old soul energy on my part. But 8 was one of my challenge numbers as far as numerology is concerned. But 8 represents that old dark energy because it's connected to Saturn on one side. But I had to embrace the darkness and listen to the voices of the dark coming out at me at a young age. Because remember, when we're young at 8 years old and before that, we're still a little bit closer to the ancestors. We're still a little bit closer to our creation. So I was still in tune with what's going on. So when I went into the bathroom to take my life and cut my wrist, because I went into the cabin, and I recall going into the cabinet, seeing, because, your parents used to leave blades and all that, and they're not expecting you to go into cabinets and all that kind of stuff. They're not even expecting you to go through that type of trauma. But because of being teased and being called this kind of name and that kind of name as a darker skin or a darker hue person, it hurt me at the age of 8, and not realizing that I had a spiritual support center. So in like Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. At 8 years old, in the darkness of that bathroom, it brought me clarity. Something brought me to say to myself, yo, stop. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, and like this person is vexed is saying, what if you're in the dark place, but you can't find a reason? What if your only family dies and your father with your wife and 3 kids and no real friends is becoming overwhelming? Depression sucks. Yes, depression sucks, but there's always, if you still have life in your very breath and air in your very breath, there is always hope, because now it's time for you to release or call suicide hotline or talk to somebody that you can talk to, because you can't see what we're doing like that. A lot of people that are under depression, they make excuses instead of making adjustments. A lot of people make excuses because they're so overwhelmed by the trauma. Like Vex said, there's an overwhelming of trauma. That's overwhelming. But because obviously you are still here for a reason, even though all that went on. But you got to embrace. Sometimes you got to fall into the darkness. That's why even in the movie Batman, when if you've seen Batman with Bane, he said, "Look, Batman tried to turn off all the lights and put the smoke screen and all that kind of stuff." He said, Batman, but I was born in this. There was a difference between him and Batman because Batman had to train himself to accept the darkness like that. Bane was born in the darkness and already embraced it. That's how powerful that movie was. Study the Batman movies with Christian Bale. Those movies are some powerful, esoteric, powerful meanings about accepting the dark side of yourself and learning how to bring that dark side of yourself to be the very best that you can and do what you have to do. So, Vex, I can understand what your experience is speaking of with somebody like Brother Simon changed my life forever. Thank you very much for, that's why I said I do Numerovation, because you can't tell me I didn't be. I've been through it 3 times, and that is the ultimate trauma when you want to take your own life. 3 times. After the 3rd time, never thought about it again. Depression might come, negative thoughts must come, but I've learned to control it because everything is in our own hands. We have the willpower to make those decisions, to make those moves. So when Fat Joe said that, and I'm still staying on the topic, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. He said he was in prison. I've been in a jail. I've never been in prison like that. I've been in jail for like 3 days for fighting police officers. But in my darkest moments, what I did was close. When I went to prison, I went to jail, I sat under the vent. Everybody knows you're in a room full of men and all that, with one stall for the bathroom to urinate, not even to wash your hands. And they're giving you cheese sandwiches, big ass, thick ass cheese with bright bread, and they're giving you Kool-Aid with the sugar on the bottom so thick you're gonna get diabetes from that sugar. But I'm in the jailhouse in the 90s. I'm in the jailhouse, and nobody's sitting under the vent. My peace at my darkest moments in the jailhouse. I'm sitting under the vent in a lotus folded leg position. I'm doing that purposely because my spirit said, go under the vent and always think in the mindset of freedom, being free. Because I'm feeling the air of the vent coming down. I don't know where the air was coming from, but the air was coming down. And when I closed my eyes, I thought myself outside of that prison. I was already back in my house, in my own bed, because your mind is a very powerful thing. That's why they used to say, don't waste your mind, because the mind is a very powerful thing. And it's a terrible thing to waste. So when I was in jail, I'm sitting there, 30 brothers, everybody around, everybody's chilling. Everybody doing their thing and talking. They just thought I was kind of weird because I just fell right under the vent in a folded position. Took a deep breath, relaxed, dropped down because I just finished, dealing with police officers. And I survived it. I dealt with 7 police officers, was able to move them out of the way because at that time we was training hard with martial arts with Moses Powell, Anthony, Muhammad, Soke, Little John. I was training hard because I was in the Nation of Islam and all that. So we was training hard and doing so. Dr. Powell always used to tell us to back up against the wall and let them come to you and redirect them. That's what he told. And instead of hitting them as I was blocking, I blocked and redirect them because they was coming with all kinds of stuff, but they couldn't come behind me. And the only reason I gave up to be locked up in the jail is because I heard my mother scream, because one of the police officers touched my mother in the hospital. That's when I went off, So at that point, I gave myself up, let them took me, and I just went into the thing, and I was just breathing and relaxing and saying certain affirmations in my mind. I think I was quoting the creed as we walk in peace and fear will not prevail. We are not the aggressors, but when we are aggressed on, we fight with those who fight with us. I think I kept on running that through my head. I kept on running certain creeds from out of the dojo in my head. I kept on running it. And then I started running prayers and meditation in my head. So when they put me in and locked me up and did the search and all the bull crap, took me downtown, I think to Central Booking in Brooklyn and all that kind of stuff. They had me there, and they put me in the jail cell, and I just went into the dark state. I went into my meditative mind, and that's where I found my clarity. That's when I knew within 3 days I was going to be out of there. I was going to be out in a few days. So when I went before the judge, After I did my meditation in prison, they wanted to feed me. I fasted for the whole 3 days. I shut down. Wouldn't even drink their crazy Kool-Aid. I wouldn't eat none of their food. Anytime the brothers wanted a sandwich, they said, yo, brother, can I have your sandwich? I say, yo, go ahead. You can have that. I'm fasting. I fasted for 3 days in that jailhouse and sat under a vent so I can breathe in the freedom of outside, because they may have this. They may have locked up this, but they couldn't lock this up. They may have locked up this, but they could not lock this up. So in your darkest moments, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. So in my darkest moments, going to jail and going in and sitting down there under a vent, I made sure I brought clarity to myself. I didn't understand that quote then. I was much younger and all that. I think I was in my 20s and I didn't understand that quote. So I made sure I came out of it. And when I went before the judge, all the police officers dropped the charges because they said I did not help them. I did not hit them. I did not hit them. I basically moved them out of the way. And they understood why I was doing it for my mother, because any of them would have done that for their mother. They would have protected their mother too. So they understood. So they dropped all the charges on me. Hey, sometimes you got to know what to do, and your spirit and your energy tells you what to do. Your intuition tells you when. So when you're in that dark moment, people like Vex, who just shared with me certain things and all that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, it's very important to understand that if you're alive today to hear this or to be on social media, first of all, that name Vex, you probably need to change that. Because I know in Jamaica, when we're vexed, that means we're angry, and we're angry at something all the time. So you're attracting that energy if you maintain that vexation, being vexed all the time. No, man, don't become victorious. I want you to change your name to victorious, not vex. Don't stay vexed. Because people say you're vexed with devil, or you're vexed with the jinn, or you're vexed with evil. That's an old religious statement, being vexed. So if you're constantly using that name, that's a name that you have to be very mindful of using. I would change the name, if I was you, to something that says victorious. Being a victor over the problems that may face. You got to change the narrative in your mind first in order for your behind to follow. You have to change the narrative in your mind first in order for your behind to follow. So stop being vexed. Don't be vexed, because that's what vex means. You got to turn that around. I promise you, if you turn the narrative in your head around, that joint will become a better thing. Or you can embrace the vexness, learn from your vex, and be your very best. He said, yes, I was given the nickname because my mom was loud Brooklyn Italian, and I became that. You see what I'm saying? You clarify. But that's real. You know what I'm saying, Vex? I'm going to call you Victorious. I ain't going to call you Vex. V is for Victorious, as far as I'm concerned. I understand that. I understand what you're saying, bro. I understand. Big up to the Italians, man, the Italian family out there that's tuning in. But that's real. You know what I'm saying? But I would change it because it comes with a certain energy. It comes with a certain energy all the time. So I would change that Vex into Victorious. Vic. You know, be victorious in what you do. Be victorious over the bull crap, and change the narrative in your mind, like I said, so your behind will follow. That's how it's going to work. But look, like I said, Fat Joe interview was a great interview, but that particular part pulled me in, and that was when he said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. If you want to do a Numerovation session with me, please text me your full name to 347-496-1022. It's $2 a minute, a minimum of 35 minutes. I do suggest that you record it. It's $90 for the whole session, and you record it. If you want to do a whole hour, it's a conversational session, so you get to ask me any question you want regarding birthday, regarding your name, regarding your business, regarding family, regarding relationship. I will show you how to work it out. But text me if you across the seas, use WhatsApp. If you're in America, just text me on the regular phone. But if you're across seas or in Canada or down in Mexico or in Puerto Rico or whatever, use WhatsApp, and we could do it through WhatsApp, or we'll do it. But please, always pay for the recording. Why? Because when you get to listen to it over and over again, something that I may have said that may have passed by you because I'm moving. I'm downloading information. Then I have certain books around me that my spirit says to go to and say, boom, you need to hear from this, me, King Simon. Or I'll say, boom, hey, you need to hear from Sue Fredericks. And then I will break down and make it clear to you and clarify a lot of that stuff. So it's very important that sometimes you take these numerology sessions or these numerovation sessions that I do seriously, record it for yourself, whether you're doing the 35 minutes or you're doing a whole hour. Believe me, it's 130 for the whole hour. You get the recording. I email you the recording as an MP3 file. You download it to your computer because the system does delete it. So I want you to download it to your computer so you can listen for yourself and learn how to understand and use this for yourself. Peace and love, family. I'm going through the shit right now, looking at 5 years. So I needed this message. Oh, my brother, 7 Lee. Don't worry. Yes. I'm gonna show it. I want it up there. Go ahead, show it. I understand, brother. And you're going through it for a reason. But remember, everything is a lesson and a blessing. Doesn't have to be a curse. Something is going to pull forth out of that because you're acknowledging it now. So 7 Lee, I'm honored to understand and to hear that, and you put it on the system. But don't worry about it. I had a brother. Now he's still alive. My brother served 16 years in prison. 16 years in prison for doing this foolishness at the age of 16, which is so funny because he's born under 25, which is a 7, which 7 is his number. So at the age of 16, he went into prison for gun charges or something of the sort. But 16 years later, I took him under my wing, gave him a job doing security. Then he got his little job and doing his all thing. But he got married to somebody that I introduced to him. And now he's been out of jail for the last 10 years, married, sanitation department, all that kind of stuff. But I was writing him. My sister was writing him different. His mother was writing him. We was trying to keep his head up. He was reading, study. He became a part of the 5% Nation and studied and all, got the knowledge and wisdom and all that. Wherever you go, make it a blessing, 7. Make it a blessing because that name 7 is a powerful name because 7 tells me that you need to go into your meditation a lot. You need to go into your own mind, but don't go into your mind negatively. See, I'm just looking at your name. I'm not looking at your birthday and I'm not reading the numbers. I'm just looking at the name 7. And if that's your code name or if that's your real name or if that's the name you chose, 7 deals with reflection. 7 deals with research. Inner research, and then you bring it outwardly. It also deals with don't take nothing on face value. Even while you're in there even if you do go in there for 5 years, this is what you do. You go to the library, the law library, and study and try to get yourself off the case. Try to get yourself off from inside and work with your lawyers and whoever you got to work with. But it can happen. There's always hope. So like Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. Let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. Because when I was in jail, it brought me clarity. When I thought about killing myself 3 times, in each moment, at the 8-year-old spot and the 20-year-old spot and the 30-year-old spot, each moment there was a sign of clarity. Because even at the second time, I remember the most honorable Elijah Muhammad saying, think 5 times before you do something. And that's when I prevented myself from killing my family and myself. Because men can go through some heavy strains at sometimes. We can go through some deep traumas and we won't even tell our wives, and we don't share it with children. We don't share it with friends. Anybody in the Nation of Islam at that time, when I was in the nation, I stood up in a Nation of Islam class. Conrad Muhammad or Conrad Tillard could tell you, I stood up and said, why am I having these feelings to hurt myself and my family? And, a lot of these organizations like the Nation of Islam and Nuwapian Nation, all that, they don't have a mental health service. They don't have a suicide hotline that they can talk to other Muslims or other Christians or other. See, Jews have that. Christians built that. The Christian Roman Catholic Church built that. And these organizations, they need that. You know what I'm saying? You need that. So I think at 7, I think somebody's trying D1 Knack is trying to share some information with you. So maybe you should take on that information. If you can help, if y'all on the line and you know you can help my brother 7 Lee, please give him some love, show him some love, hit him up, send him your email. And if you got that law facts and that law information, you know how to break that. Because a brother named Messiah Bay, man, he got himself out of prison enough times because he went into that law library, but he knew he knew the ins and out of the law. He knew the contracts. He knew the affidavits. He knew the writs. Taj Tariq Bey, they've done it. I see the Duke of Tyr. Watch these guys on YouTube. Messiah Bey, Taj Tariq Bey, I see the Duke of Tears. Those guys know the law. As a matter of fact, I see the Duke of Tears, who's also on YouTube. I said the Duke of Tyr is an international lawyer. He has a degree, a PhD in international law. He's a good friend of mine. So don't let these burdens hold you down at all, family. Because whatever you're going through, you were meant to go through it. You were born to deal with this. You can handle this because you're looking at somebody that thought about taking their life 3 times. I handled it. I'm here. I'm up to 3 books. I'm writing 10 books altogether. I'm up to 3 books already. I've hosted and emceed some of the greatest shows on major reggae and Caribbean stages. And you're looking at a person who almost took his life. What would have happened? Think about that. So where there is darkness, there's always light because the light and the darkness is balanced. And that's why when Fat Joe said that on Breakfast Club today, let your darkest moment bring you the most clarity. It stuck my heart. And I said, I got to talk about it today. So please, 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 I'm getting out of here. Please share this. Please share this. Please share this. Please share this. Brother Simon and Elder said to me, if you want to hide knowledge from Black people, put in there. Yeah, that's right. If you want to hide knowledge from Black people, put in the book. I'll share that. Of course, that's been known knowledge since I was young. Yeah, if you want to keep knowledge from our people, put it in a book. Hey, but the true knowledge is within ourselves. Because like Noble Drew Ali said, study, study, study. But after you finish studying, what you're supposed to do? Study yourself. Study yourself. 7, all these people on the line, study yourself. Why are you going through what you want? How or why did you excel in what you wanted? Where was your darkest moments in your life? How did you come out of your darkest moment? Because the two most painful experiences, according to their science, is the time that you were born and the time that you die. The 2 most painful experiences, that according to their science, is the time that you were born, coming out of that wound and breaking through that and all the stuff that you got to go through, and then the time that you die. That's what they're saying. So I always say the 2 most important days in your life is the day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. That's a quote that Les Brown and many other people say. The day you were born and the day you find out why you were born. If you're going through some trauma, if you're going through some dark times, you're supposed to go through it to learn it, to make it a lesson, make it a blessing, and then convert it into something that it could be a teaching modality. That's why the motivational teacher, George Fraser, always say, learn, earn, and return. You got to learn what you're learning, whether you go through the ups and downs of it, earn from what you learn and what you've gone through, and then return it to the family by teaching others what you've been through. So when they go through it, they'll be able to handle it better. That's why I constantly see, because I'm a suicide survivor, so to speak, a suicide thinking survivor, so to speak. I constantly bombard my mind with positive, constructive stuff. Constantly. I don't listen to negative music. I don't listen to that stuff anymore because I know under my energy that I can hold on to that type because I'm very sensitive. I'm very intuitive. I pick up on things. So if you know that you're very sensitive, you're an empath, and you're very intuitive, please, by all means, leave the negative stuff, the negative television show, the negative news alone, because negative news is sexy in this society. But in ancient Eastern society, there was meditation, there was building. You couldn't build the pyramids under trauma. There's no way you can build those edifices under trauma. No way. Although people like to say that these slaves were built, there's no way. It had to be a time of peace in order for you to build. There was no war going on. There had to be a time of peace in order for you to build. And some people can build even in the time of war, but that's more traumatic and more a need to, or more there's a word that's in my mouth that when you're going through extremities, that's when you get the most out of that person sometimes. But when you're in the time of peace and you're in the time of study and meditation and prayer and all that kind of stuff that they did, that's when some of the best things come out of you. I woke up this morning and a whole bunch of thoughts came through about sexual molestation, about what Malik Yoba is going through, what other family members that I know have gone through, and that dark moment that they went through. So when I came from my workout, I was working out on my bag, my Wave Master, and doing punches and kicks and training and all that kind of stuff. Then I was listening to the Breakfast Club as I came down, and then I chose to listen to that Breakfast Club. Something say, listen to Fat Joe. Listen to Fat Joe. Then I Googled up his birthday. He's born August the 19th. Okay, I'm a number one. Okay, I'm born February 1st. He born 19, which is the one that's already appealing to me. Then he was talking about Big Pun. I Googled up Pun's birthday. He's born November 10th. I said, oh, he's another number one. So I got why he did what he did and how he did what he did. I understood that. I even understand why he died on transition, because that deals with a lot of circulation. If you don't take care of your food, eat your food consumption will clog up your circulation, could cause heart attacks, strokes, and all that kind of stuff. So I understand that. But when Fat Joe said that quote, and I repeat it for the last time, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity. I almost dropped the phone. I almost dropped the phone when Fat Joe said that, because this is what this is about. It's about you finding, when you are in those dark moments, whether you lost your job, whether you lost a mate, whether you lost your mother, whether you lost your father, whether you lost a child, whether you lost your mind, whether you lost, those are the darkest, quote unquote, darkest moments. Make sure, like Fat Joe said, let your darkest moments bring you the most clarity, because in the dark there is clarity. Like Bane said, I was born in this. I was born in this, man. You had to adapt to this. We were born in darkness. We was in the darkness of the womb. So we had to be comforted in the womb of our mother. So darkness, we have to understand and embrace the darkness in order to understand the light that we're coming out to be. So it's all right. It's all right. Believe me, when this Brooklyn-born Jamaican, Cuban Jamaican, Afro-Cuban Jamaican says what he says, believe me, I'm here to show you all the love. High blessings to each of you. Most definitely appreciate y'all. Thanks again. King Simon, I'm built on that knowledge. Super salute to the family. Salute to you, Seven. I'm getting ready to get out of here myself. I got some running around to do. Got to find some of my cousins. Whew. He's supposed to come to this funeral this weekend. My auntie passed on. She was the family historian. And like I said earlier, she was one of those people that was into the light skin, dark skin thing. And I was one of those people that got caught up in the dark skin stuff. And it's all right. I forgive her. I kept it moving. I'm keeping it moving. I still love her. I'm going there. I'm going to go to the funeral. I'm going to speak my piece. Big up to her daughter, Karen, who also been through it, because her and I are about the same complexion. We've been through it. Even her daughter coming out of her womb, she been through it. So I understood. When me and her was talking, I started tearing up because I didn't know she was going through it, and I was going through it from another perspective. So we're going to be writing a book for our family. We're going to write a book. Me and my cousin going to write a book on this whole thing. We have to. We have to bring it out, because she's a number 3, so she needs to let it out. I'm a number 1. I have to let it out. I'm already proving that with my books already. So I said, look, I'll help you. We're going to make this happen. So remember, we are live streaming the Dr. Delbert Blair tribute this coming Sunday. Us, salute. We are through Joel Benjamin 528. We're going to be doing it through Joel Benjamin's medium 528. We're going to be live streaming it. Of course, Red Pill and Blue Pill are special invited guests. Ross Ben is a special invited guest. Sister Cafunia is a special invited guest. Unc Rising Sun is a special invited guest. Elder Bishop Renee is a special invited guest. Myself, I'll be speaking. Joel Benjamin will be speaking. And there's other people that's going to be passing through on to show their love and give me 2 or 3 minutes about Dr. Blair and how they touched him, and how he touched them, and how he's. And Dr. Blair has been transitioned for a few years now. He died in his critical cycle. And like one of the sisters said something to me. what's going on here? One of the sisters said something to me about a critical cleansing cycle that she's on. I'm gonna scroll up. I hear that, and boom, 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 boom. She said something earlier about her critical cleansing cycle. Um, I'm going to scroll up and just answer that question. Sister Benita Sutton, when is our challenge period around our birthdays, and how should it be handled this period? My birthday is November the 5th, and I'm trying to remain calm because things are seemingly crazy right now. Well, my dear, being that you're born November the 5th, I'm going to answer this one question. First of all, your alignment numbers are 16. Stop thinking too deeply. Stop worrying too fast. Stop the worrying. Stop the worrying, because the 716 energy, the 1 6 energy adds up to a 7, and 7 is the number of worry and depression. First and foremost, you have to change the language in your mind so your behind can follow. Don't worry about what you're going through right now. Think on positive affirmations and positive thought pattern, because you are what you think you are. That's why words are things. Thoughts become things. I have a book called Thoughts Will Become Things up here somewhere. It's called Thoughts Become Things, or Thoughts Are Things. So because you're born under with the alignment number 16, which is the 1 and the 6, the 1 says be creative in your thought patterns. The 6 says maintain balance in your thought pattern. And the 7 says spiritual understanding, spiritual understanding, spiritual overstanding. It's all there to work for you. But let's add it to this year that you're going to. So you're going into a 8, 9, 10. You're going into a number 1 year. So you're still in a number 9-year cycle, a cleansing cycle before your birthday. And you're going to be going into a deep cleansing cycle and season 52 days before you. So you're feeling the effects of it coming to you. I totally understand. The thing is, don't you get nervous. Don't you get weary. Don't you let your guard down. Keep your mind going and stay motivated, Miss Sutton. Do not let your guards down, because these are those times when the duality of it can come about. And because you're in a 9 cleansing cycle, cleanse, detox yourself from people, places, and things you no longer need to be around. But yet listen to motivational, affirmational things that'll keep your mind on a higher level, Miss Sutton. I wanted to ask that question because she asked. Count backwards from your birthday 52 days, and wherever it land, that's where your critical cleansing cycle begins. You do start getting some of the shadow energy from at least like a week or 2 before, but it officially goes in 52 days before your birthday. That is called the critical cycle. Pay attention to elders during that cycle. You can invest in realty in that cycle. You can get rid of things like old clothing, old shoes in that cycle, old thoughts, thought patterns in that cycle. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do in a critical cleansing cycle. Even change your diet in the critical cleansing cycle, because you're going into a number 1 cycle. In other words, you're going through your turbulence right now, and all you have to do in this turbulence is get ready, get prepared, and if the breathing apparatus drops down, you put it on yourself, help yourself first and help whoever else after, but you got to take care of yourself, because a number 1 year cycle is going to be one of your good year cycles as far as doing new things, new beginning, new people, new job, new movements on the positive. But if you become hard-headed, indecisive, second-guessing yourself and all that kind of stuff, it can be problematic in a number 1 year. Remember, numerology reveals cycles and season. Like it says in the Bible in Ecclesiastic, there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time for this and a time for that, and a time to do this, and a time for that. Numerology reveals the time and seasons that you are in. So if you want a numerovation session with me, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. Very reasonable. Recorded. This is an advertisement rate. So remember, 347-496-1022. I'm going to close out of here with my same song. We only got one life to live. Live it positively in whatever you do. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Go to my Eventbrite, KingSimonProductions.eventbrite.com. Love you. And don't forget, my website is KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Peace.
And we are living, don't even strive on negative vibes. Cause you won't make it, no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we are living. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it, no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive